That. The woman is paralyzed.
Frankly, I think Xander's brain is paralyzed.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel for an all-new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, November 1st, 2024. We are in a new month. Happy November. So we see Holly and Sarah. So Holly is still waiting on a text back from Tate. If only she knew he was really busy, So anyways, Sarah comes in. She, heard that she's back in town from her visit in Paris. So she just, checking up on her, and they just have this little chat, right? So at first, Sarah was, saying that, Xander is really invested in, getting her to walk again. He will do anything, go to no limits to make sure that she walks again. So she mentioned the serum. So Holly is like, what serum? So she said that Kristen has this miracle serum that could potentially make her walk again, but she is not handing it over until she gets full control of Titan, which is, Xander's family legacy and all of that. So of course she, Holly is saying that it's a big grand gesture, and, it's a lot of thought that has to go into it. But, Sarah is objecting to it. She doesn't think that Xander should sign it all over to Kristen. She's okay. She's positive. She's optimistic about her life regardless of her disability. And, she is happy with her husband, her daughter, all of that. So she doesn't want Xander to go through with it. But, Xander is stubborn. He's just, persistent and all that. So Holly also mentioned that she heard that Brady wasn't the one who, caused Sarah's accident, and it was, her husband's mom, and, she still can't believe that happened. So she also tells Sarah that, she felt bad for how she treated Brady, and, because of that, she and Tate broke up, but she's trying to win him back, but she didn't get a text message, and she's just wondering maybe he doesn't want anything to do with her. So Sarah said, don't jump to conclusion. He probably hasn't seen the text or anything. Work it out, right? So speaking of Tate, right? So Tate and Sophia, from I see the opened condom wrapper on the table, I already know they went through with it. So they wake up, it's morning. So of course, Sophia is glowing, and she's happy that they did the deed and all that. They're happy about it. So she gets a text from her friend, because her friends, she said to her mom that she's staying over at her friend's place. So her friend said her mom came over to check in on her. So she had to make up a lie saying that she was in the shower, and then, it was still ongoing. So of course she needs to do damage control before it got worse. And her mom actually calls to ask her where she actually has been, right? So while she's doing that, he gets up, to sort out breakfast, but he checks his phone because he was too busy to check his phone last night, So he sees that Holly texted him, to see if they could talk. So of course, he stops in his trap because we all know he's not over Holly. And if Holly said she wanted him back, he would have dropped Sophia like a bad habit, long time. So Sophia comes in at this point. She's dressed, because she has to take care of it. So she was saying that her friend made up this excuse about, one of the parents is making eggs Benedict. So she asked Tate if he could make eggs Benedict, but he was so distracted by this text from Holly that he kind of stopped for a bit, and then he just said, okay, Sophia's like, what is the reason for that? So he said, nothing, don't worry about it. I just can't make eggs Benedict, but I can provide you hot cereal or whatever. So she said, no, I'll pass on that. I have to go take care of this anyways. And, she said that she will see him later and all that. So she is in heaven right now that she did the deed with the boy of her dreams. I really don't see what they're really fighting over. But anyways, Holly comes over. And, Tate still was looking at the message. Then he was thinking about the good times, that he really misses Holly. So as soon as he's looking through that, he gets a knock. Holly comes at the door. He invites her in, and he apologizes for not seeing the message. So she said, I can understand that you were really busy. So he said, yeah, about that, I need to talk to you. there's something I need to tell you. So I hope he's telling her the truth about what happened last night between him and her ex-bestie. I don't know how this is going to go well, if they're going to even, how this is going to work and how this going to affect Sophia. I really don't care for Sophia, but no girl deserves to be used or use a second fiddle, or, just you pass around. No, I don't believe in that. But I don't know what they're fighting over Tate for, because Tate is really he's not worth fighting for. To me, he's just naive, he's simple, he's dull, he doesn't have much of a personality. He's not a catch to me. You think you're talking about a big catch like salmon or what you call it, mahi trout, whatever. Yeah, right? So he's like sardine, like the smallest catch to me. So we have Xander and Kristen, right? So Kristen said, I take it that you and your brother sort out what you need to sort out so that I can have control of Titan, right? So he said, not quite. It's a lot more complications to it. And, I'll have to look into getting rid of Philip permanently. So she said, are you talking about going to court, doing it the legal way? So he said, no, I have no faith in the justice system here. I'm talking extreme measures. I'm talking we gotta kill Philip. So she said, you're willing to kill your half brother for the serum? So he said no, you're gonna do it. So she said, why me? He said, I don't want the cops to think I am the one they need to look at if in case Phyllis' body, they find Phyllis' body and all of that. I don't want no ties to that. So they won't suspect it's you, but she said they could also suspect it's me. I have a lot to do with this as well. So Kristen doesn't think, Xander's idea is really bright, but anything with Xander, sometimes, and I like Xander, but I'm saying everything he feels okay, his last resort has to be offing somebody. He can't think through that. And Victor was really strategic with that. So he needs to, get some of Victor's strategy when it comes on to this, right? I still believe they should find other alternate resources to help Sarah, because signing over all of the family legacy is not it. I really don't believe it, so hopefully something else pops up, right? So Xander, Kristen said, they're not gonna go through with it, so she tells Xander to think up another way to get this, because time is ticking, and if you really want Sarah to walk for the next time Victoria's birthday comes around, you gotta really think of something else. So I really enjoyed the scenes between Philip and Vivian, right? That Vivian and Philip go way back, because Vivian stole the embryo from Kate and Victor and implanted it in her womb, and she believes still that she's like Philip's mom because she carried him for 9 months. But come on. Anyways, it was really funny between the two of them. She just can't really believe that, Philip is still here and they still haven't gotten the deal, getting the company back and not allowing Xander to sell it over fully to Kristen. So he said that it's more complicated than that. It's not even about him. If Xander could just, sink to the bottom of the sea, like my broken leg, like my, what you call it, the amputated leg, the prosthetic leg, yes. Sorry, but yeah, he doesn't care much about Xander, right? So he tells Vivian that it's more than that. It's about his wife, Sarah. She cannot walk again because of this accident that happened. So of course she said, oh, that. So he's like, oh, that. You really have a heart, do you? So he's like, Xander is only selling the company over to Kristen because of the serum. So she said, yes, Sarah's is paralyzed, but I think Xander's brain is paralyzed. So I think that was really funny. So she said, listen, I get that, but we are, selling over $1 billion company for a serum that may or may not work. So this is really risky. So I need you to come up with something so that, Xander doesn't go through with this. We need to stop him in his tracks. So he said that, okay, I need to get shot, but I need some space. So she said, come on. I saw you the day you were born, naked in full glory. So it's please do not mention this again. So he went to go take care of his business, and she's just shaking her head. But I think it was really hilarious between the two of them. So let's continue where we left off in yesterday's episode, right? So The last part was with Johnny, Chanel, Joy, and Kate. So Kate is introducing Joy to Johnny and Chanel. Of course, Johnny and Chanel know each other from some other night where they could have potentially hooked up in Joy's room. We still don't know what truly happened, if all that went down, but because they're being a little bit coy about that. But anyway, Chanel recognizes Joy and she's happy that she got the job because her performance was really great the other day. So Kate says to Chanel that she has to do some fittings at the soap opera studio and all that, so she has to whisk her away. So Johnny was asking Kate for some time with Chanel because they were trying to work out something. So she said, no, time is money, we are limited, so we have to go. So you can just show Joy around the set and, let her be familiar with it and all that. So, of course, Joy also finds out from Kate that they are actually married. So she's surprised because she runs some lines with this girl. And, Joy is supposed to play opposite Chanel's character as the woman that's trying to take her man. But in reality, that's what's actually happening. She did have a night with her man. We don't know if it went all the way, but yeah, she still did. So it just leaves an awkward, environment for Johnny and Joy. So while Kate and Chanel go back to the setting, they're waiting for, the designer to come out with the clothes. So she has a little one-on-one with Chanel. She tells her that she hear about everything that happened on Johnny's birthday. And she's like, yeah, I know you heard about how my idiot husband accused me of sleeping with Alex. And then turns out that Alex was actually sleeping with Stephanie. So she said she heard about that and she immediately fired Alex and Stephanie, but then she gave them another chance. So she doesn't want no more drama, no more negative energy, given that the soap opera hasn't aired yet, especially between the director and one of the actors. So she's asking Chanel, to just really hear Johnny out, give him a second chance. So she's like, it's more than that. He disrespected me, called me a cheating slut and all that. So she's like, I would be angry too, and I get that you're angry. You have every right to, but please, really look into it. Give him another chance. Men can really get overwhelmed with their jealousy. I was married to Johnny's grandfather, and he was a special case. And so she said she heard about that. She could imagine all that she went through. So she said you could not imagine. But my point is, Johnny, I'm very fond of Johnny. And, he's a good guy. He's a sweet boy and all that, right? So she tells Chanel about her own son who, let his jealousy consume him when he was, in love with Chloe and, trying to wreck the whole thing between Chloe and Brady and all of that. It got to a point where, he lost his sanity, he lost his freedom. So she says Johnny is really, not like that. So Chanel should really just, look into it, consider it. So at this point, she's saying she don't want no drama, and then drama enters. Xander comes in, storming in, and he's like, listen, you need to talk to your idiot son. He needs to back off of this deal and all that. So Kate is confused. She's like, Philip is not here, so I haven't spoken to him and all that. So he doesn't buy it. He just says, listen, he's at the Salem Inn right now, so he could not come up with that elaborate plan by himself, so he must have help. So it probably could be you. So she said that she doesn't really have any idea of what Xander is talking about. She has not been in contact with Philip at all. So he just rushes out. He tells her, tell your son once again to back off of this deal, back off of trying to get control over Titan. So he just rushes out. So at this point, Kate leaves and Kate goes over to one of the hotel rooms where Philip is supposedly at. So of course she got access of the card. She said, if you could pop up in Salem unannounced, I can do so and go to your hotel room unannounced. So she comes in and she says, surprise. And, it wasn't Philip. So let me show you a clip.
Guess who?
So back at the hospital, Joy and Johnny have a real talk, and he, basically tells Joy about what really went down. She said that she couldn't believe that Johnny and Chanel were married, because if she had known that Chanel was his wife, she would end up being nice to her, considering everything that Johnny has told her about what he assumed about what his wife has been up to. So he tells her the truth, that he assumed wrong. He thought it was Chanel, but it was somebody else. And, turns out her secret was that she was throwing a birthday party for him, and now he just feels bad. He just wants to really win her back. So she understands. She said, like, wow, really jumped to the wrong conclusion. So she said, like, thank God you haven't confronted her. So he said he ended up doing that, and it caused a big problem. So now they're at odds in their marriage. So at this point, he's telling Joy to be discreet about what happened with them the other night. His wife doesn't need to know that, on top of everything. And she understands to just, keep it quiet. But we all know how secrets stay in Salem. They don't really stay. They come out. So let's see how this plans out. So at this point, Chanel comes in, right? So Joy mentions that she didn't know that they were both married. So Chanel said that Kate likes it that way, that we don't have the personal stuff out there, keep it professional. So she understands. So she leaves, thanking Johnny for showing her around the set, which didn't happen. And she also said to Chanel that she's looking forward to working with them, right? So at this point, Johnny and Chanel have a little talk. Johnny asks how the fitting went. She said it's okay. She also mentioned that she spoke to Kate about them, and she is willing to give Johnny another chance. She forgives him. So he's overjoyed and ready to hug her. She said, listen, you're on probation, so do not mess this up, right? So at this point, it's going to be a big mess, because he has a big secret over his head. Boy, I really was rooting for Johnny and Chanel, but it just looks like they're going to be another marriage that is not going to be standing the test of time in Salem. So Xander comes back, and he's talking to the portrait of his father, and he's saying, like, I hope your ex-wife fixes this thing, because if she can't and Kristen can't, then I will have to take it up into my hands and kill Philip, right? So at this point, Phillips comes in all dramatically funny, did a little hop, and, Xander turns around, with a face of disgust. So that is it. That's all that happened today. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. Comment below your thoughts on today's episode. I will see you guys next week. Have a good and safe weekend.
Because if Kate can't stop him, Kristen won't. And I just may have to kill the son of a bitch myself.